Welcome to Stray Logic, the podcast with the main focus of random thoughts, individual perception, and hearsay. Pull up a chair, some coffee, maybe our shot or two, and enjoy the ride. We have Rooster here. What's going on, man?
Nothing much.
What's funny is you're Rooster in here, but your fight nickname's Falcon.
Yep.
Can't get away
funny.
from
Birds.
Where my fight nickname is the Arizona Silverback.
And then
I
your
don't think
name in
it-
here is just your name.
Yeah, I don't think anybody... I can't get away from gorillas.
It's because you look like a gorilla.
Because I fight like one too.
It's big, strong, and heavy.
Yeah, but I'm also technical too. I have finesse. I can pet the little cat. Like I have a softer side too. So in today's podcast, we want to talk a little bit about competing, and it's gonna be a shorter one. Today's gonna just be a short special. We want to talk about the build up, what it's like to compete, and I guess the end outcome and what it does for you. So starting out. I have been your coach for a long time. You've competed all over the place. I've competed all over the place. There's a time that we took a year and just traveled and competed
Everywhere.
Nonstop. We went
Back-to-back weekends, too.
Yeah, we even went and trained in Seattle. We have competed in California,
Denver. Yep.
Vegas,
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Over.
Yeah, all over the place. I mean, that's just something that we did. So let's talk about the build-up. So first off, a lot of people don't realize what goes into competing. Not just the financial side, but like the training side of it.
Well, it's not only even training, because you gotta talk about mental training too. Just to get your mind right to even go out there and face another person in a competition setting.
Yeah, I think with good coaching though, it really does help because
Yeah.
it kind of if somebody could tell you constantly what to expect. I mean, just constantly what to expect. It's like this is what's going to happen. This is what you're going to do. This, and
It makes you more relaxed.
It does it, and being relaxed in a fight's important. So training, usually there's between 6 to 10 weeks of training beforehand. It starts out pretty intense. Just we hit the ground running.
It sucks.
Yes, it does. My goal is to smoke them every single day. When you're fighting, the biggest thing that's a surprise to most people after the first tournament is how tired they get. So what we do in practice is we start out just hammering you, get you used to being uncomfortable and get you used to being tired.
Yeah, because your body works different when you're tired like that.
Yeah. Another thing we do is we focus on diet. So usually there's weight classes in fighting. We focus on trying to bring everybody's weight down so they be the biggest guy in the smallest bracket.
Yep.
So diet and exercise. But it's not as easy as it sounds because as soon as you start dieting, it messes with your mind.
Yeah, and it never works for me anyways as far as being the biggest guy in the smallest bracket.
Yeah, because everybody else is just as big. Or
they always move me up.
There's nobody in your bracket, so you go back up. You're the little guy in the big bracket.
They're like, oh, you cut to 190? We're moving you up to 220 today. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that happens a lot. But there's times it hasn't, though. And I don't know, the competition, the meta is different in each weight class. Like, the fight just changes. I've always fight in the ultra heavyweight division, so 220 to unlimited.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, those guys are massive. But the hard training preps the mind for hard fights, and that's what you can expect. So we train for 6 to 10 weeks. Usually just come out of it like sharper than a tack. It just absolutely feeling good, flowing well. I believe that one of the most important aspects to competing, and a lot of people just want to compete. They want I want to see where I am. It's like, well, then train for it. You need to. You need to train for it. You need to train hard. A lot of people don't realize that it's a different concept than just rolling around in the gym.
Way different.
Because the person's intent is no longer just to have fun or exercise; it's to hurt you.
Yeah, and it's 100% right out the gate the whole time.
Yeah, it's just off the handle and go. And if you don't have experience with that, it's hard to deal with at first.
Yeah, you kind of get overtaken.
Overwhelmed. Yeah,
Yep.
You get overwhelmed. It could you almost want to quit in the middle of a match because it's so much. But a lot of people, so when I tell them that they need to train for competitions, everybody gives me the same spiel. Oh, well, I can't dedicate the time, or I can only train twice a week. It's like, then don't compete.
Yeah, then don't do it.
Yeah, because all you can do is get hurt. And that's the last thing I want. That's the last thing anybody wants. You don't want to get hurt because it is so different than when you're training just to train. When training just to train, you're going to get better. But we train, if you think about self-defense as a martial arts, we train for people who don't know anything. Most martial artists aren't going to go out attacking people.
Yeah, true.
When you do this, it kind of takes the will to want to fight people who know nothing out. So if you think about training, you're training to fight against people who know nothing. Most martial arts is the idea is that it's self-defense against an unknown attacker. So you're training not to fight an intelligent fight. You're training to fight to win somebody who knows nothing. when you're training for competition, you're training to fight somebody who knows what you do plus some. So you have to train more intense. You have to train harder. You have to
stay sharp.
You have to weight lift. You have to eat right. I mean, you have to be the elite athlete on top of the person grappling. So, and it's paid off for us. I mean, I brought home
numerous things.
Yeah, I mean, I've never not medaled except
belts,
for
medals, like all
belts,
kinds of stuff.
medals, and even in the back, I got a bunch of stuff. But it's a process. So let's talk about travel. For me, the most nerve-wracking part always is waiting.
Like, just after waiting. You get there?
No, just after I sign up.
Yeah.
As soon as I sign up, then it's just like an 8-week waiting process to go fight people. You know, like I like doing it right now. If I can go to every tournament and just show up and compete, I do better.
I remember my first tournament, I found out the guys' names and then I started Googling them, looking them up on Facebook and stuff. I can tell you right now, don't do that.
Yeah.
You psych yourself out because then you're like, oh, I could beat this guy, but then it ends up being the guy that will beat you or
wins the whole tournament.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's stupid. It just wrecks your mind.
You can overlook people. You can underlook people.
Exactly.
You can mess with your head. The idea is just show up and train hard. I see it like this. If you've trained hard, you've ate right, either way you're going to go out there and compete. You're going to win or you're going to lose based on that alone.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter who the person is. It's either you're better or you're not.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who it is.
I have done research and videos to prep, and it doesn't get in my head because I look like, if I can find your video online, I'll look at the first 10 seconds on how you stand.
Yeah.
So I can kind of
find the little mistakes.
Find something so I know if you're a guard puller or if you like to stand up and bang. So either way, like in my brain, I can build a system based on that. But other than that, I don't care because my jiu-jitsu is good enough or it's not.
Yeah.
I'll fight to the last second regardless.
And always stick to what you know. Don't be trying new stuff that you have no idea.
Yeah, or listen to your coaches.
Yeah, don't listen to your coaches and get all fucked up because that's what normally happens if you don't.
Yeah, if you don't, oh man, it makes me so mad when I'm coaching somebody and they're not listening. It makes me so mad. But so driving there sucks because it's an anticipation. You're thinking about the what ifs.
The whole time.
Yep. If your weight's on, usually it's lack of sleep because you're excited or you're nervous or you're anxious. It's exciting, but it's also very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, your mind doesn't shut off at all.
Yeah, it doesn't. So you show up to the tournament. It's usually you're almost eyeballing everybody, wondering who is that person. Like who here is the person?
And you could be standing right next to him and not even know who it is.
Yeah, unless you've like stalked that guy on Facebook or
Instagram you know their team name, so like if they have their team patch,
you can start finding. Yeah, you can almost narrow it down to. I do this, but that's why I start doing this. But once about an hour beforehand, I start mental preparations. I get away from the noise. I put my headphones in. I start to pace. I start to warm my body up. I start getting in fight mindset versus normal mindset, which is happy-go-lucky to like, okay, like let's get ready for combat. Because that kind of has how I see competition. So it takes me about an hour to really get into that mode where I'm a different person, I like to say. I'm much more intense.
Yeah, you go in different than I do. I go in totally relaxed.
Yeah, you're kind of like one time you got in trouble for chewing gum, didn't you?
Yeah, I was just so chilled. I'm just like sitting there chewing gum like a normal.
The ref's like, wait, spit your gum out.
He's like, time out, spit your gum. I'm like, oh, totally forgot I even fucking had gum in.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you've always fought that way. You kind of fight like, you're very relaxed. But the guys I'm fighting are so big.
Yeah.
And not only they're usually twice my size, but they're aggressive. So I have to deal. Because the ultra heavyweight division fights different than the 205 and under.
Yeah.
They're more come out, pull guard, who can get down first, and it's a very technical fight. The first of like a 7 to 10 minute match for me, the first 4 minutes is us just kind of beating each other up, and then they usually lose the fight. They usually lose the want to fight because they're getting tired, and I'm aggressive too. I've wrestled since I was a little kid. And I start breaking their mind, and I could feel them start to want to.
Yeah, you could feel it. The big breasts and the size. You're like, ah.
The longer it takes, because I'll run them out of bounds, it takes them longer to get into bounds.
You could tell they just don't want it anymore, and then you know that your fights that you win.
The chance changed, yeah. Or they'll make a mistake because now I force them to be uncomfortable. So my preparation is like getting ready for the aggression because I've bled from my pores. I've come out with fat lips. I've come out with just beat up, or just my face looks like hamburger meat. But the big guys,
days.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, but that's how the big guys fight. So that's the fight I have to prep for. For you have to prep for more. Stay relaxed. Don't use too much energy. We just fight different.
Yeah.
So my preparation is different than yours. My favorite part though is running out to the ref and waiting for the guy to get there. Just getting like, I like standing on the sidelines because it's the calm now has happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're done talking about it, we're done training about it, we're done eating right. Time to fight. You know, it's like it's finally we get to do this, and whoever else after. So if I have 5 rounds, that's fine. If I have 10 rounds, that's fine. If I don't care. It's game time. It's no longer the waiting; it's the fighting, and that's the part I like. So you run.
That's
out,
when your mind becomes like blank.
It,
you become one with yourself. It's weird.
Yeah.
You don't see anybody else or hear anybody else. It's just you, your coach, and your opponent. You don't even really recognize the ref is right there in front of you.
Yeah, it really is a hyper focus. Just us two. Like it's time. So I always like to run out there first and shake the ref's hand and wait for the guy because I like to stare him down while he's going, and it's very calming.
Mind fuck him.
Well, and at this point in time, there's nothing to be said. There's nothing to be thought. It's just time. I like that. I like when it's just like it's like shut up and fight. I've always said that. Like I don't like to sit around. I just want to shut up and fight. We get to now. So they come out there and the first feel out, if they're really good, takes a second because they're not going to engage right away.
Yeah.
But as soon as they do, it's like it's time. There's nothing else to be said. I just appreciate that. I always appreciate my opponents because without them and without good opponents,
yeah,
the medals and trophies, they mean nothing.
Yeah, they wouldn't, and you wouldn't be where you're at either.
Yeah, it does because you level up when you compete against people. It makes you better because it's just something about it that one competition's worth 20 private lessons. 20 private lessons worth 100 classes.
Yeah, you grow substantially.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, but it goes away. It's just all of a sudden, it's just you and me, man. We're out there and we're going to be fighting.
Strange how it works that way.
What's cool, though, is that after a while of having the same coach, a consistent coach, it's you and me, we're fighting, and my coach is being like, giving me some good advice every single time. He's like, hey, don't do this. It's like, that's good advice. Hey, break it off the foot. It's like, that's a good advice, too. I like that. I had the same idea, man. Or put your right hand right here, man. It's like, okay, gotta listen. No, you didn't do it. It's like, I know I didn't. But that's won some matches even with you being out there, you know, and there's times you didn't listen. And
yeah, well, there was only one time I didn't listen.
Usually you do really well. We follow the points. We know what we're doing. We're very calm and collective. We're walking through things.
Yep.
You're acknowledging that you can hear me.
I never look at you either.
No, I don't want you to.
I know, which is like most people always try to look over.
I hate that.
You train me well from the beginning where I just listen and I don't, I paid more attention.
And what's funny is we're probably
opponent.
We're probably about either between 10 yards to 20 yards away, so we're about 30 feet to 40 feet away from each other, and it's like I'm standing there talking to you.
Yep.
Okay, man, this is what I want you to do. And you're walking through all these steps, and it's like, you're winning, there's 10 seconds left, don't you do it. Don't you fucking do it, and then you armbar the dog shit out of that guy.
Yeah,
like,
I get that smirk on my face, and I'm like, it's here, though.
I saw the
it's
smirk because I knew what you were thinking. I was like, don't you do it.
That was the only time I looked over at you.
Yeah.
You're like,
you looked over and you smiled.
He's fucking standing up, pushing his arms down, and you're like, no, and I looked over, I'm like, yeah, I'm good, I'm doing it.
And you smirked at me, too, and I was like, don't you do it. I think on camera we even have it, and on camera I was like, don't you do it.
Yeah.
Don't you do it, and you smirked, and you did it anyway.
And his fucking arms like, pow, 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 just starts popping, refs screaming, stop. That's probably one of my favorite moments.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. But, I mean, competition's hard. And at the end of it, you shake hands, and you might have more people, you might not have more people, but it's like you're not the same person walking off the mats.
No, and then you walk into the gym the next day, and you're not you just feel different. It's just everything's different.
Like you leveled up.
Yeah, it's I
like
don't know.
Like,
it's hard to explain.
I don't know. Some people, I don't know if anybody watches Dragon Ball Z, but the more you get beat, the better you get. Like when those guys almost die, they get better each time.
Yeah,
that's the concept. It's the same in competing. Is that like even if you get thumped on, you go out there and that guy beats you like a drum. Like you walk off and it's like your knowledge or growth or like the hardship of the match has made you better. I don't know. I like it. I think it's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, and my thing is if I'm gonna lose, beat me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to lose by an advantage.
Like somebody just sitting in side control.
Yeah.
On you and
fucking Jesus, that shit drives me nuts.
Yeah. No,
if you're gonna beat me, submit the dog shit out of me, like that guy did in Phoenix when he Americana'd the fuck out of me and my arm popped.
Yeah.
Pow, pow. I was, you know what, man? You were the best today.
Yeah. Well,
got it today.
When I was a purple belt, I had to compete against a black belt, and it was at a Naga tournament, and I knew that the guy was he's second degree black belt.
Oh, the Nogi guy.
Yeah, the Nogi guy. Second degree black belt. I was a purple belt. He was just aesthetic. You could tell he's just a monster. And I went out there and I wasn't expecting to win, but I was going to try my best. I get him in a guillotine, and I'm squeezing as tight as I can. I make a little adjustment. That adjustment he capitalizes on, pops his head out. I'm on the ground, and he stands up, and he's just looking at me with this just like, you fucked up. And I knew I fucked up, and he just hammered me past that. I mean, just stuck it to me. Almost looks like I was trying to crawl away from the match. I was just trying to regain my bearings, but he beat me like a drum. I was okay with that. It didn't bother me at all. There's other matches I've actually lost by just an advantage, and it's, one advantage to 0, but we fought each other the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with going out there and not performing like I know how to perform. If I go out there and I lose because I did something stupid, I do not take it well. I don't take it well ever, because the fault is my own, and I'm not okay with that. But competing is probably one of the coolest things that you can do, I think, as a martial artist. And then when it's all said and done, whether you medal, you get a trophy, you get a medal, or you get a sword, or you get a belt, or whatever it is that you get, what's the best part, in your opinion, afterwards?
Eating.
Because you've been eating good this whole time. So there's a ritual for everybody. It's different.
Crashing your diet.
Yeah, now it's time to destroy the diet and rest.
Sushi, it's always sushi too.
Well, if we go to Vegas, it's sushi. If we go, we've always gone different places. But then it's time to get fat and eat bad.
Well, it was like last summer, we didn't get to do that because we were competing every weekend.
Yeah,
so
it was just one after another,
Yeah.
after another, after another.
It was like we went back to the hotel room in Denver, and then we ordered like wings, right?
Yeah, we got
And then we
wings.
just both crashed out, and then traveled back the next day to go compete. I think it was in Phoenix the next weekend.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did. And then it was in Vegas, and then it was Vegas again. It was. I mean, it was cool, but I just wanted to share a little bit about kind of what it is. It's a lot of build-up, a massive experience at the time. It's going so fast, and the rounds 7 minutes goes quick unless you're tired.
Yeah. Or unless you're in Denver.
Yeah, or unless I couldn't breathe. My lips were blue. I was like, I can't.
That was one of the hardest matches I ever had, was against that guy in Denver.
Yeah, well,
because it was a five-man bracket, right? And then the last guy got, man, I remember he was getting up so much faster than me, and I just felt like, I can't breathe. I can't get up.
Well, like I said, I was fighting my guy, and my ref was kind of, I don't like to blame people, but my ref's kind of screwing me. I was moving, the guy was holding on to me as tight as he could. I couldn't lift up, I couldn't do anything, and they're calling me for stalling.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I have to go. So I start moving, but man, I'm blue in the lip, and I couldn't feel my fingers, I couldn't feel my hands, I couldn't feel my back. I'm like, I'm gonna die up here. This elevation, I'm not used to this elevation.
Oh.
You could really feel a difference, and I could definitely feel a difference. And I was in decent shape at the time because we were competing so
Yeah,
much.
which is weird because I'm a big cardio guy. I do cardio all the time, riding a bike, 10 miles on a bike, 15 miles on a bike. We got up there, and it was like we didn't even do any cardio at all.
Yeah, that's what it felt
That's what
like.
it felt like, yeah.
But competing, if you're gonna do it, I think people should. It's amazing. It's a hell of an experience. It makes you better. It shows you firsthand. You have somebody literally showing you where you're weak.
Well, and you definitely got to get your mindset right before you do it.
Yeah,
Don't say you're
have
going to
to
do
commit.
it, and then go in there and be like, oh, I tried, but you didn't commit to any of the training, or you didn't show up for warm-up.
Didn't listen to your coaches.
Yeah, none of that stuff.
Didn't eat right.
Oh,
'Cause you
that's a
feel it.
big difference if you don't eat right.
You feel it, and not only do you feel it, but you suffer for it.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I know I'm going to compete,
You get more tired, you're
you
faster,
just feel
everything
it. You
just
feel it in your
burns out.
training too. Food makes a big difference in the body, and so does working out too. Being able to physically dominate your opponent helps as well. They say jiu-jitsu is not about strength. It's not about muscle. It's not about any of that stuff. But I tell you what, if you're stronger than your opponent and you get to turn it on, and you're more technical, you start beating that guy like a drum.
Dude, it makes
it's
a big difference.
Something special about it. But yeah, I think that's good. I think that's the time we're gonna allot for this today. We're gonna see how this goes. See if people are interested in learning about competing and stuff like that, and then just go from there.
Well, it's not just like jiu-jitsu competition. You got to think back in the old days. Look at, how they used to fight, mutual combat each other, war. There's so much. Even playing football sports back when you were in high school.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've been doing it since I was a little kid. So
Just
I've
competition
routines.
itself.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's an animalistic side to it. I hate to use it like a primitive side to it, to competing and fighting another person. That's very satisfying.
It's
It's
fun.
a weird.
Becomes addicting.
It does. Not only does it become addicting, but like it feels good. And people, for some reason, I'll post 100 things on my Facebook, but I post I just won a gold medal. I'll get 500 likes. I post that like, hey, I just like look, I just made a like the dean's list or the I just in college I have a 4.0 and I get like 10.
Yeah.
Like people for some reason have this fascination that fighting is associated with like some type of dominance.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes you want to do it a little bit more just because the recognition that you get with it.
Yeah, and then the people that don't do it, they just kind of sit back and like they want to, but they don't.
Yeah, if you're on the fence about it, compete. Do it. But listen to your coaches, listen to your training. You might be, and so don't be discouraged too if you lose, because you only lose. A loss only counts if you didn't learn a lesson. Like if you didn't take anything away from it. That's when. Like I've lost and been like, I know what I need to fix.
Yeah.
And I went back to the next day, went and did a private lesson with my coach and was like, fix my mistakes. I don't want that ever to happen again. And there's been times I've won and I've been like, I still have things I need to fix. If you win or you lose, but you're not taking away. Now I'm not talking about the experience. If you're not taking away something to learn from it, like to be better, you really are just.
There's always something to improve on.
Yeah, that's the loss.
Yeah.
The loss is that from this experience you've taken nothing away.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, that's the worst thing in the world, because even the world champions know that there's always a little bit of growing to do. If you think that you've made it to the top or you're the pinnacle, or if you lose and you're just mad because you lost, I mean, that's just your pride and ego, and that's not okay. If you lose and you get up and you just recognize the guy was better than you, you need to go get better. Maybe next time you'll catch him.
Yeah.
But if you get mad and you don't fix anything, that guy will beat you 100 out of 100 times.
Yeah, there's always something you need to fix. No matter if you go all the way to black belt, from white belt all the way to black belt, even after black belt, there's always so much more that you could learn, so much more you could do, so much more you could fix.
Well, I've lost and come back and beat the guy. Like if I didn't take anything away from that, I would have lost twice to the same guy.
Yeah.
And then a third time, and then a fourth time. I've taken a loss and was like, okay, I'm going to fix it. And even later on that day, fought him in a different, from no gi to gi, and I beat him, because immediately when I got up, I was like, I know where I made my mistakes, I'm going to fix it.
Yeah.
I come back and I win. And then the guy's like, I don't want to fight you again. Because it's night and day difference. I've taken everything in, I've analyzed it, processed it, but this could be from years and years of competing. And it's like, now I'm going to come back and I'm going to beat you.
And that's always a good feeling too, when like you accomplish your mistakes.
Yeah. That was my first time winning a Naga tournament. Is I got knee barred in the beginning, and then came back and beat this guy in gi, and he was a brown belt the next day. I was a purple belt. He was a brown belt the next day, so he was at the end. I just got my purple belt.
Yeah.
But in no gi, he knee barred me, and my first experience with knee bars, because they couldn't even do that at purple belt, like that. Like he Eminari rolled right into a knee bar, and then I came back in gi and I smashed him into a pulp.
It's always so crazy too, because the guys you go against are so gigantic.
They're so much bigger than me. They're like twice my size.
So watch this big old fucking guy Imanari roll. You're like, what the?
Yeah, I think
looks like a fucking
like,
bulldozer coming at you.
Like doing a cartwheel. I'm like, what are you doing? Like we're competing. Like, get grabs me. He's like, oh, that's what he's doing. It's like, oh no, I don't know what to do. I can't fight. Okay, you got me. And then they did it to each other. So there was a 3-man in that bracket, and they did it to each other. Both Imanari rolled. So they're both cartwheeling on each other, grabbing a knee. And then one guy switched over to a heel hook and fucked the other guy up. Like, it's pretty intense. It's some crazy stuff. But I mean, it is what it is. The guy that took first in that bracket took last in the next one, because I took him out of the thing. But yeah, we appreciate you guys for listening. Like, subscribe. We're gonna put more content up. It's always gonna be something different. So it might
always comment too.
Yeah, we like feedback, and whether it's direct feedback or just questions, or just anything. This is a conversation amongst all of us, and not just the people at the table or the people on the podcast. This is an open conversation. Yeah,
let us know if you guys have competed, whether it's like bowling or archery, or dude, it's still competition either way. I mean, there's always a mindset going into different competitions, like how am I going to bowl today? How am I going to shoot today? How am I going to,
Yeah.
It's all different.
Yeah, I like that too. It could be MMA fighting. We have stories on that too.
Yeah, we've both done that too.
Well,
so that's fun.
Like, again, we appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time.